Good morning, friends. In the CXO agenda, I talk to top business leaders on the challenges faced by CXOs and how one might overcome them. Today, my guest is Mr. Vijay Shrinivas, CEO and whole-time director with Indag Rubber Ltd. He's a product of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. He's an accomplished business leader in both strategic and operational roles with leading Indian and multinational companies like Arvind, Shell, L&T, and DuPont. In DuPont, he was Global Account Director and a leadership team member. Vijay is married with one daughter and loves to travel. Good morning, Vijay. Thanks so much for participating in this dialogue on a subject which is very important to CXOs and aspiring CXOs.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Welcome.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Vijay, I have a few questions to ask you. So the first one, here goes. How can a CXO best manage change within his own function or across the organization?
Any change management is a difficult journey because it involves addressing human behavior. The common mistake, what people end up doing is that if I am going after digitalization, then I hire a digitalization expert, and everybody keeps focusing on the digitalization aspects of it. Of that, it's broken into small pieces and assembled together to make the project complete. But oftentimes, what is forgotten is the change management aspect of that, right? So, focusing on the people who will be impacted and how they will be impacted, and having a good conversation around that, and making sure that everybody is on board, I think is extremely important in change management. The second thing, if you want to move from A to B, right? Oftentimes, if the gap is too high, what happens is that people don't have the conviction or they give up. So I always like to take a ladder approach, one step at a time, doable, believable. And so the change management is all about doing it in steps, in phases. Don't shoot for the big goal all at once. So managing it step by step takes the team along, and everybody you can do it nicely and seamlessly. And the third thing is alignment in goals and aspirations. Whatever that we intend to do, as CXO intends to do, he has to make sure, or she has to make sure that there is alignment between various stakeholders on the goals and aspirations of the project. And of course, any change management or any big initiative needs to be resourced. Actually, I strongly believe that if it is not adequately resourced, it becomes lip service. Actually, it's then the intent has to be backed up with resources. And lastly, lots of positive reinforcement, right? Recognition and reward along the way helps the team to travel along together. Those are the 4 or 5 takeaways for me on change management.
Wow, those are really priceless inputs from you, Vijay. So let me just summarize what you said. One is you can throw money at a problem. You can work it out all in your head, like many intelligent people do. But then the human factor, the human aspect behavior, which is not an equation. So you need to lead your people to buy into, get conviction into the changed behavior, why it is required. Second is break it into small parts, take a laddered approach, and so that people are able to see success at intermediate points, which reinforces their behavior towards the change. Third is alignment. Get everybody aligned with not only the change management goals, but overall as an organization as well. Everybody should be in sync. Many times CXOs, Vijay, they come and say that, please help me align my team. They're all pulling in different directions. And so how do we go? How do we move faster if people are not aligned? So that's a key thing that you're touching on. Fourth is this thing about resourcing. That many times new initiatives, the goal is good, the intention is good, but they suffer from lack of resourcing, adequate people. Taking your best people and putting behind the change is often so important. And positive reinforcement. There will be many hurdles along the way. So making sure that the team does not dilute the original goal. Fantastic, Vijay. The next question I have for you is, how can a CXO become more impactful as a leader? How can he demonstrate his presence? How can he make other people around him trust him and follow his direction?
I think first and foremost, the job of the CXO is to help build a vision and make it a shared vision, right? What unites the entire team, what unites the entire departments, with sometimes conflicting goals is only one thing, which is organizational vision and organizational goals and aspirations. So I think it is the CXO's job to set the tone there and go for the lay down the canvas and make absolutely clear what the goals of the organization are and make sure that it is shared vision signed up by everybody. And number two is a clear articulation of strategy. So goals and aspirations is fine, but there are many ways to reach the goals and aspirations. So strategy is all about making choices. So where to play, which products, which markets, right? Then how to win. What kind of competitive capabilities that we need to build to sustainably win in the marketplace, right? It should be very clearly articulated. Last but not the least is the execution part, right? The execution part happens, that's where culture becomes extremely important. What is rewarded, what is punished, how decisions are made. Those are the things that actually determine execution of the strategy. Somehow, I have seen a team with purpose moves a lot faster than a team without a purpose. The job of a CXO is to make sure that everybody rhymes, they all rhyme together, and purpose is one thing that will align everybody together and make it happen. So that's my broad take on this.
I couldn't agree more, actually. The shared vision part of it, I've seen in many organizations. Now, the real test of shared vision and shared purpose is go to the last man in the line and ask him what it is. If he or she in the last leg of the organization is able to say, what are we striving towards? You got a great leader over there. So
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Second is the unique strategy, that you have as a leader or as an organization. What's your unique way of reaching the goal? That should be well crafted. It should be highly contextual to the company's own strengths and the field in which one is playing. That's great. And execution is so important that it is said that all companies have great strategies. Come to think of it, can't fault strategy. But 95% of companies that don't do well is because of indifferent, flawed execution, where each man is not pulling his weight. And a leader who can show the way, who can be an exemplary executioner, who shows attention to details, he follows up on things, he encourages, all of that is really a prized possession for any company.
Absolutely. This is where the culture eats strategy for breakfast thing happens, right?
Yes. Okay. So dear viewers, this concludes the first part of my conversation with Mr. Vijay Shrinivas, CEO and whole-time director with Indag Rubber Ltd. We'll continue this conversation in the concluding part coming up in a few days. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Ramesh.